All right, it's my pleasure right now to be joined with a guy we've been knowing for decades, really, from Southern Lab to LSU to the NFL and now on ESPN. Marcus Spears. Marcus, great to have you. How you doing, man?
John D, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. Unbelievable path you've taken and all the great success you've had. Let's start off.
Man.
I was just on Chili's website looking at spicy shrimp tacos, Marcus. And so I'm already getting hungry for lunch. Tell me about this partnership that you formed with Chili's.
Yeah, man, it's been phenomenal. A new happy hour menu, new bar menu at Chili's that we've been promoting. Some good food, man. Good time, great atmosphere, and more importantly, letting people know that they can come to Chili's and enjoy a game. You know, when football is on, happy hour is on at Chili's. And then too, like the partnership has been fun for me because I'm a foodie. If anybody knows anything about me, they know I'm a foodie. So it's right in my element. But it's been the partnership has been fun, more importantly than anything. And it's about legends, legendary experience, and they trying to bring legends to those areas where people know them, recognize them, and but the promo has been fun, man. 9 flavors of wings. The chili Philly is the deal. Now, listen, I know a lot of people in Louisiana not real familiar with cheesesteaks, right? And I was skeptic. I got to be honest, I was skeptic. Man, that thing good, Jock. I got a chili Philly that thing is good, bro. So, but you can do it, man. You get your drinks, get your wings. But the most important thing, bro, the new bar menu and it's been set up for people to come in and enjoy games and just have a great atmosphere.
Awesome. Well, off the top of my head, I know right there on Constitution by College, and then
by College, yeah.
Gonzalez, Tanger Outlet. Those are 2 off the top of my head. So, all right, here's some other things on my menu. And I don't need any notes with this guy, really. I mean, I'm talking to Marcus Spears. Do I really need notes talking to Marcus Spears? All right. So, Marcus, the LSU Tigers are trending in the right direction under first-year head coach Brian Kelly. The offense has come around. 45 points in back-to-back games at Florida and Ole Miss. How are you feeling about your Tigers?
I'm enjoying it, man. I think this is the antithesis of process, right? Like after the Florida State game, you know how we are down there. We was ready for a new head coach after the Florida State game. But I thought it was a good hiring in the beginning. And the reason why I haven't been so vocal, obviously, is I'm in the NFL now. But also, man, like these things take time. Watching the team, what you want to do in the first year is progress, right? As a head coach, you want to see the things that you're teaching, what you're saying, the philosophy. You want to see guys start to believe in that. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like, and it's the first time where LSU doesn't really have, I would say a marquee guy that everybody's coming to the stadium for. We've been spoiled with such great players that even sometimes have overshadowed what we could actually do longevity-wise, right? 2019 was phenomenal, and then we fall off a cliff. So, talking to Scott Woodward and having a brief conversation with Coach Kelly, it's about the process, dude, and longevity, like a consistency in winning. And I think that's what the hiring was about. And I mean, he's doing a great job now. Now we're about to get in the thick of this season, right? We know what's coming up. We know every November we got to face Bama. And just this time of the year, this will be a critical time. And I'm not talking about wins and losses. I'm talking about performance and how these guys continue to play. So I've been really impressed, man, actually. And as close as I can get to it, I follow the Tigers, obviously.
So, all right. So there's this old saying, facts don't care about your feelings. So unfortunately, Marcus Spears, since LSU walked out of Bryant-Denny Stadium in 2011 after Drew Alamo makes a field goal in overtime and LSU beats Alabama in overtime. LSU has beaten Alabama once, and it took the greatest team of all time to do it. So this is kind of like Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown. We get our hopes up. We start getting emotional these 2 weeks. We're going to do it, Marcus. We're going to beat Alabama. So can they do it this time around?
I don't see it happening, Jock, to be honest with you. College football is nuts, though. right? That's why every year we go in with the hope that something special can happen. 2019 was the most confident I've ever been because we matched talent. Okay, 2019 was the one time in a minute that we walked in and I've said the level of talent on this team is equal, and in some areas is better, right? The reality is when you talk about those games, we haven't been as good as Alabama. We haven't had the talent that they've had. We haven't had the consistency in quarterbacking that they've had. Our lines of scrimmage have not been good enough to sustain 4-quarter games. It's a big rivalry because we got good and started having a lot of success at the same time. And obviously, with Nick moving over there, the cupboard wasn't bare here either. But if you look at it historically, we've had guys being drafted, but it's been a lot of skill position guys. They've had a lot of D linemen and offensive linemen, and we can try to cipher this thing, and quarterbacks. We can cipher this thing however we want to until we consistently play at a high level at the QB spot, and we continue to develop talent in that with guys that we get in, and obviously transfers and NIL helps with that now. But if we can consistently do that and compete at a high level at the line of scrimmage, we've always had the skill players. We've always had receivers. We've always had defensive backs. Our line of scrimmage is the reason why we've lost to Alabama in quarterback. Those are the two areas that they've been consistent on and we haven't. So when we get to that point, which I think this hiring had a lot to do with that, is when we'll go to these games every year saying, yep, we got a chance. We got as much talent. We're well coached, but the interior of our line of scrimmage is good. Our defensive lines are good. Our offensive lines are good. And we got a quarterback playing at a high level. This year in particular, they give people problems because Daniels is athletic and he can move. And that always makes up for something that you may lack line of scrimmage wise. So I'm not going into this game saying LSU has no chance. Like, these dudes are playing well. The believability that they have that they can play with anybody, that has a lot to do with college football, man. So I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for Alabama.
All right, let me sneak 2 more questions in with you. And by the way, the great Robert Hollins from Southern Lab High School, who you know, he had a term, he called it BTM, beef that moves. So like Big 84 in the national championship, scored the game-winning points.
Hey man, you got to have them. You got to have them, man. You got to get some big time football players that think they can play basketball on your defensive line, man.
By the way, Marcus Spears, two career catches at LSU for 20 yards. So
let's go.
All right. Nick Saban is going to turn 71 years old on Halloween coming up here. History is a reflection of the past, Marcus. And every time I feel like I hear somebody say Nick Saban is getting too old, he comes back and he knocks all your teeth out. So how much longer do you see him doing this?
I think he got 5 more.
5 more years.
Maybe 4. 75 years old is a good line to set it off. And look, there is nothing else for him to accomplish outside of his love for coaching, right? And I don't think people talk about that enough, about why he continues to do it. The simple answer is he loves to coach football. Like, we try to decipher, is it championships? Is it over? Yeah, he likes to win, and he enjoys having a tremendous amount of success. The money don't hurt. Make a lot of money, right? Generational wealth has already been attained. Now you continue to stack on that. But more importantly, man, like, and I know LSU fans, we got a love-hate relationship. But he loves coaching football. He loves seeing his guys, even back to us when he coached at LSU. He loves seeing us have success as grown men, go on to the league and have success in life, period. I think that drives him more than people give him credit for. I know throughout our conversations, that's what he talks about, just how proud he is of guys that he's been able to coach. But more important, dude, he's a football coach. He was born to do what he's doing. it's hard to walk away from that when it's not an occupation, it's a calling.
Marcus, I hate losing more than I like winning. All right. So it's
I
it is without a doubt the most complicated relationship in Louisiana history. LSU and Nick Saban. What he gave LSU, what he's prevented LSU from having, all
of that mix. All of that mix.
Last question. This is a little different question for you, but we're going to interview Tommy Karam on Monday, who trains LSU student athletes to do interviews and whatnot. You making it to the highest level now there at ESPN and whatnot. What impact did he have on you in terms of answering questions and learning how to deal with the media and become a big media personality yourself?
Yeah, be honest, but don't divulge all of the information, right? Like that's the one thing I took from Tommy Karam. And obviously your approach, your resting face is another big thing. Like just the ability to have a look on your face that's inviting to people. And we know, I mean, John, I've read Law of Attraction and all of that stuff. Like all of that stuff is real. Like people want to feel. The one thing in my career that I think I've had success with, if anybody was to ask me, is I think people feel a genuine sense that they can just talk to me and hang out with me, right? The fun is great. I have a lot of fun. If I wasn't having fun, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I did pretty well in the NFL. I don't need to work per se, but I love my job. I love doing what I'm doing. And I love people. Like, that, man. You've always known that about me. So I think what he has brought is not only preparing these guys to speak well, but also understand what kind of information you need to give out without it being a detriment to whatever organization or whatever structure you're in. And then the other part is, like, you don't exist without the media. like your story doesn't get told. Like we can watch you play football and we can see you have a tremendous amount of success, but your story, your personality, who you are as a person doesn't get told to the masses without media and without people, like without you building and forming those relationships. So that's what I take away from Tommy K, man. But also, like, your default look is what he calls it. You got to have a good one so people feel invited, man.
Well, great chatting with you as always.
You too, brother.
My first LSU football team I ever covered at WAFB Channel 9. I mean, how spoiled was I? I had Marcus Spears, Michael Clayton, Rohan Davey, Josh Reed, LeBrandon Tofield, Trev Falk, Brady James,
Andrew Whitworth, Ben
Big
Wilkerson.
Whitworth.
Like, dude, the beginning of it, man. Like, I think about it, John. Every time I'm there, I think about it, bro. And I look at, dude, when we went to LSU, and not to any slight, LSU was not a destination college. I think, like, people that's been here for the last 15 years do not realize how many good football players were mass exiting Louisiana to go to other schools, man. I tell people all the time, do you know, and people are shocked. I'll be like, do you know Ed Reed is from Louisiana? Do you know Reggie Wayne is from Louisiana? Do you know Peyton Manning played an hour away from LSU?
Marshall Faulk?
Marshall Faulk. Like, it was, so Trail Faulk to me was the guy that everybody knew that decided to go to LSU. I call him the Godfather.
Trev or Kevin? You said Trev. You meant Kevin?
Kev. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin is the godfather of elite, best of the best. I'm going to the home school. And then it follows. You got Booger, you had Chuck Wiley, you had Gabe Northern. Like, I could go on and on and on with the list. But those are the godfathers, I think, that became, the folk heroes after, obviously, our older generation of, the Billy Cannons and the Casanovas and Burt Jones, But more importantly, like, for my generation and my era, the reason why I went to LSU was because of Kevin Falk, Chuck Wiley, Gabe Northern, Booger McFarland, those dudes, Brady James, that class before me. Those dudes really, to me, were like icons in Louisiana when it came to high school football. And I would like to say in 2001, it was taken to another level.
It was taken to another level. And a baseball player named Matt Malk, who kept running the quarterback draw. Couldn't be
kept running that draw. The athlete, look, the dual threat, the most underrated dual threat quarterback in LSU history, man. I never forget Tennessee SEC championship. They need one game to go to the national championship. Rohan Davey gets hurt, and Matt Mark commits to be a dual threat quarterback and take care of business. And that's when it all changed, man.
I know I gotta let you go, but I talked to him the other day. He said he was in line at the movies before the SEC championship or something, and he heard a fan in front of him who didn't know he was behind him saying, "Well, I sure hope we don't put the game in Matt Malk's hands." And Matt's like, I threw 28 touchdowns this year. What's the deal?"
Man, now he's making sure people have good oral health and great dude, man. It's so many stories to be told. Maybe I'll write a book one day, Jock, about it.
You should, and I could talk to you for another 2 hours, but I don't have that much time. Next time you come in, I'll meet you at Chili's. They still pour those margaritas like in those glasses, and they mix all that.
I got a new drink for you. We're gonna get a ranch water, and we're gonna get